What is up, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the Danny Show. I'm your host, Daniel Cody. This is where I give commentary and reviews on all things wrestling, and I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. Before I get started with tonight's review of Friday Night Smackdown, I would like to first and foremost say happy birthday to one of my favorite female wrestlers of the Attitude and Ruthless Aggression Leader. And for those of you who are interested, there is a review of my top five favorite Lita matches. So be sure to check that out for those of us who are Lita fans. Also, now, with that being said, let's get started with tonight's review of Friday Night SmackDown as Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn open up the show. KO Zania, as I like to call them. Unfortunately for them, a lot of celebrations getting ruined tonight because for them, the Usos come out and interrupt the whole celebration talk and stir the pot that one is going to turn against the other. And that's interesting because there have been a lot of heel turns in 1 month. I'm just saying. I mean, Braun goes heel, Trish Stratus goes heel. Who else went? Brock Lesnar went heel. Um, did anyone from AEW go heel lately? I mean, Paige was already heel. Soraya, should I say? But in any event, a few heel turns going on lately. But in any event, a fight breaks out and Riddle comes out, and that would set them up for the main event tonight. But before that, there was a funny moment that took place backstage. Sami Zayn told Riddle, "Be careful." Kevin Owens said, "Be mad." And of course, allegedly, the reason why Matt Riddle was out of action was because he was rehabbing, just like Jeff Hardy, who just made his return earlier this week, which I'm very excited about, and I thought that was very cool. We have Woods versus LA Knight taking place in our first match of the evening. But before we get into that, let me just say, Wade Barrett, please don't make Wade, do me a favor. Don't make reference to joysticks ever again because just don't. I know he was talking about video games, but just don't say anything about joysticks ever again, Wade. But nonetheless, we had a pretty good match tonight between not Wade, LA Knight and Xavier Woods. Of course, Woods kicked out of the leg drop, and Woods put the leg drop on LA Knight, and LA Knight used the rope. And LA Knight will become a victim of his own dirty deeds with the roll up in the tights because he cheated, got caught, but Woods did not get caught. And the downward spiral is back for LA Knight. We also have tonight the Judgment Day made an appearance on Friday Night SmackDown. And of course, Priest bragging about what he did to Bad Bunny. Of course, Zelina Vega comes out and provides a distraction for Liv Morgan for LW, not Liv. Okay, excuse me. Botchamania. Zelina Vega comes out and provides a distraction towards Rhea Ripley as the Judgment Day were attacked by LWO. And Priest and Santos Escobar will go on to have a match. That was also pretty good. I think WWE Smackdown tonight was trying to make sure their matches were as competitive as possible because if you look at all the matches that happened in AEW this past week with Jericho versus Keith Lee, you have what was the other match that took place? Orange Cassidy and Murphy was a real good one. And when you look at all those great matches that happened this week, I think WWE wanted to try and make sure, like they did in the War ratings in the 90s, that they would provide some good matches. That maybe not WrestleMania matches, but good matches. And this was one of them. I loved near the end of the match how LWO attacked Mr. Simp 19 Rey Mysterio as Michael Cole was seen cheering them on. I mean, Michael Cole went ballistic. Of course, Rhea Ripley will get the Hurricanrana from Zelina Vega. I think they're probably going to put it where Zelina is a contender for Rhea Ripley, which would probably end up being a good. I don't know if it would be as good, but I think it's going to be interesting. Speaking of Zelina, now that Zelina has gone face, does this mean Zelina and Kayla Braxton can be friends now? But in any event, just kidding. At least Kayla Braxton won't have to walk out the bump every time Zelina comes on. But in any event, despite all of the action on the outside, Damian Priest does another South of Heaven choke slam, wins the match, and wanted to do more damage, but Rey Mysterio comes from behind, and the LWO is standing tall. The LWO needs some momentum. Just saying. Hopefully, they don't sell out to Ric Flair for money like everyone did in the 90s. Also, fun fact: when Ric Flair disbanded the LWO in 1999, I believe it was Rey Mysterio that walked away from Ric Flair and everyone. Rey Mysterio was the one that did not compromise. Fun fact. Now, let's get into some more action with Liv Morgan and Raquel celebrating their championship run, but it was interrupted by Sonya, who can't seem to win a match at all, and Chelsea Green, who also can't seem to get much done. I mean, she should stay with Matt because they're doing better over in other countries than companies rather than they are in WWE. Just saying. In any event, they came to disrupt the party and they got checked and thrown out of the ring immediately. But I must say, on a complimentary level, Raquel and Liv Morgan are my favorite female wrestlers on SmackDown, and I hope that they, along with some others, could get more attention because let's be honest, the women of SmackDown are not getting a lot of attention as the women of Raw. Probably because it's only a 2-hour show. But this is the kind of stuff that Rousey was talking about. But moving forward, let's get on to Shinsuke versus Madcap Moss. Or should I say Magic Mike Moss? Because if Madcap Moss is going heel again, then I'm going to have to go back to calling him Magic Mike. Because I like to say funny things about villainous wrestlers. I try not to make anything offensive, but I will say something that is entertaining or funny, like how I call Dominic Simp19 and Madcap Moss is Magic Mike. For those of you who are new, because as we can see, we're at 302, I want to let you guys know that a couple of years ago, I used to call Madcap Moss Magic Mike Moss because he was a heel. He was not funny. His jokes sucked. And he wore suspenders like a male stripper from Las Vegas. So we're going to have to go back to calling him that, even though he lost the suspenders since he's heel. And Shinsuke Nakamura made very quick work of him and won the match tonight. And the only sad part about Shinsuke being back in WWE is Pat McAfee was not here to dance all over the table. Darn it! In other news, but nonetheless, Shinsuke is back and I'm really excited. But breaking news, Karrion Kross wants to start a rivalry with Shinsuke, which I think will be very interesting. So let's see how that works out. The Raiders attack Braun and Ricochet backstage in a small segment on SmackDown tonight. But then we got Riddle versus Solo Sikoa. Fun fact, both of these men wrestle barefoot, and also rhinos came out of Riddle's screen during his entrance. Could that be a symbol for gore, gore, gore? Just kidding, no. But we also found out that there will be a WrestleMania tag team rematch in a couple of weeks between the Usos and KO Zania, as I dubbed them. Because for the first time in history, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and the Usos main evented a WrestleMania in a tag team match. That was historic, by the way. But tonight was also, this one wasn't as, I don't know if this one was as epic as the other matches that took place earlier, but it was interesting nonetheless. We had both, they came out with their support. Solo came out with the Usos and Paul Heyman, and Riddle came out with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, but both men were ejected from ringside. However, during the later on during the match, they would come back and they would go at it again, which would cause a distraction for Solo to defeat Riddle. And then after the match, Riddle threw was buried under the announce table by Solo. Man, the bloodline is unstoppable, and with the way things are looking, I think Roman Reigns might be champion till the rapture comes. Because I don't know anyone who is going to stop this guy. Brock is not can't contend for the championship as long as Roman is champion. I don't know when or if Randy Orton is coming back. Um, there is a rumor that The Rock is dedicated to having a match with Roman Reigns at next year's WrestleMania. I know I want a Philly next year. I want a Philly cheesesteak for dinner next year. I know that. But in any event, rumor has it that The Rock is very dedicated to that match, which I think would be awesome because despite the fact that if I do my calculations correctly, The Rock is in his early 50s. But despite that, it would be interesting to see those two go at it because The Undertaker was in his mid 50s when he had his last match with AJ Styles, and it was awesome. But if The Rock is dedicated to a match with Roman, to preparing for a match against Roman at next year's WrestleMania, if the Rapture and the Lord willing, that is going to be an awesome match. That will give us something to look forward to at next year's WrestleMania because this year was awesome. But if that happens, that'll give us something to look forward to next year. But nonetheless, let me know in the comment sections what do you think about tonight's episode of Friday Night Smackdown in this review. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me what you think about everything. And for also, I do have my community post open for those of you who haven't heard yet, so be sure to check that out. There's a lot of interesting things put on there and some humorous pictures put as well. But for now, that's all the time I have for you today, and I'll be back with another review on all things wrestling, and I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.